The original name on the front of the building, which is still there, is the Gary Bathing Beach Bathhouse. It sits on the very southern shores of Lake Michigan with its grand pillars and ornate design. Back in the early 1920s, the city of Gary was booming because U.S. Steel, the first billion-dollar corporation in the world, were right here.
This place really came to be in the 1920s as a result of the partnership with U.S. Steel and Gary, Indiana. George Maher was a well-renowned architect, and he was known for prairie school architecture with long lines and indoor-outdoor connection. He worked hand in hand with Frank Lloyd Wright in a lot of projects, and then he became renowned for his abilities and structures, as well as using the T-block. And it was a precursor to what we know today as scaled prefab concrete foundations.
What's a T-block? Well, you put the two T's together and it looks like a regular block that you would use today. And then he used this thing called rebar inside of that and then poured concrete in it. So that's why this building is structurally sound. It's not going anywhere. And then it opened in 1922 to a very large crowd, mostly from Illinois.
Being along the beach, it was a fantastic respite for people visiting the area as well as people who lived here. Now, there was a period of time where not everybody was welcome in this facility, but we did get by that. I am happy to say that there was a time where both blacks and whites got together and challenged that and literally marched to this beach. And yes, there was a conflict and people were hurt, but they said no more.
In 1971, they decided the best thing to do is just board it up and put no trespassing signs on it. Well, that was a terrible thing because it just looked terrible. And of course, it started going downhill.
The east structure was essentially degraded. I mean, the balusters were torn apart, the stairways were degraded.
It was just ugly. And then the roof was deteriorated and holes in the floor and stuff was starting to grow through the cement. To most people, it was something that I think this is not going to work. But I didn't see it that way. And maybe I was young. You know, that was 30-some years ago. Back in the late 80s, I was park board president, and I couldn't get this building out of my mind. So I took the board off of the front and brought Mayor Barnes up here, and I said, I would like to renovate this building. And he said, go right ahead. You're the park board president, but don't ask me for any money. And that's when we started raising money. And my friend in Miller, Greg Rising, was the attorney for the park board. And so I convinced him that this would be a great project. So we got people and we started a fund, of course, and we started a society. When it was opened on July 24th, 1991. The evening was beautiful, and it hasn't stopped.
The brilliance in how they put this together, as far as I'm concerned, in the early days, is that they said, hey, we need some historical significance to make this beautiful structure be what it is. So we dedicated part of it to Octave Chanute, who we believe is the grandfather of flight. And then shortly after that, we dedicated the east area to our Tuskegee Airmen. To history and what they were able to do in terms of World War II was unbelievable. And so when people are able to come here and understand the historical significance and what you can learn here, whether it be the T-blocks and the construction of this place back in the day, or the history of Octave Chanute and the Tuskegee Airmen, we provide a lot in this facility for people to enjoy and understand and learn.
It's used all the time. The building is maintained by Miller people, and we still have an all-volunteer board. The garden club is totally volunteer, and they make these beautiful gardens here. You know, I think that's what makes it unique.
I thank God that we've got a community of people that help us to make this place go, but it does not happen just with one person. It takes a village to make a place like this work.
A couple of years ago, we celebrated the 100th year of this building. Gosh, you know, there's not that many buildings in Northwest Indiana that's 100 years old that is greatly alive. And, you know, what a good feeling it is to be in a viable building that was downright condemned. It took 30 years, but we're at this point of it is wonderful.